My name is Richie, and I am a physical therapist. I graduated in 2020 in December, and I've been working for a few months now after passing boards. Um, my goals coming into the program almost a year ago, we just went over, but I was at 190 pounds and a good percentage of body fat there, not a lot of strength or muscle mass. My goals going into it were partially vain in terms of like aesthetics and wanting to like feel more confident in my own skin, if that makes sense. But also like functional strength and being a physical therapist, understanding how important it is to be able to be strong in a lot of different positions and how we can put ourselves in awkward positions in life and needing the functional strength to get through it. So I treat people every single day that have deficiencies and pain, and just realizing that I need to practice what I preach, if that makes sense. Like being more consistent and providing a good example to my patients.
I do think, just chiming in here real quick, like when you say that the purpose of being confident in your own skin, the purpose of like feeling good, looking good within your own body, like although on paper that sounds like something that's rather vain, like ultimately what drove your purpose was like looking externally and being a beacon of inspiration for those around you and showing that like, hey, like this isn't just me flexing big words on you. This is like a
Yeah.
way of life to keep you independent, to keep you like enjoying prosperity.
Independence a great word to use. A great word to use for sure. And I agree with that. And I mean, you're right. It comes from it comes from a multi-angled approach.
And I think that everybody, like, even though again on paper it might look like we're starting off with ourselves, like everybody has that ecosystem of folks that are impacted by their ability to be there. I find personally, like whenever um, I'm confronted with life's many challenges, like instead of focusing all on me, like just reminding myself, like, yo, like there's so many things that I get to contribute to in taking action on this.
That's a great way of putting it for sure. And I feel the same way. And I take pride in like being able to help people.
All that said, like in moving off of the program and having some hindsight over the past many months of progress, like what were some of the kind of key takeaways that you had?
Yeah. Some of the key takeaways that I had was I felt the places where I felt the best with the program was when I was the most consistent. So not even necessarily that I was making objective progress all the time, but just that I felt good about challenging myself to stay consistent in the gym. And even on the days where I felt like I could, take a day off and be lazy, or even the days where I was lazy and did take days off, being able to like refocus myself and put myself back in a position where I felt committed to like my goals. We're making the goals together, obviously, but I had to make the effort to go make that happen. I felt like I was not only achieving things for me, but also I was there for the people that are supporting me through the journey. So like what you're putting in a lot of time and effort into creating this program.
Shows, bro, because like applying that mentality of like done is better than perfect to
Yeah.
your this journey translates not only to like other areas and aspects of your life, and on the days where like your goldfish dies and someone cuts you off while you're driving to work, and like your meal prep
Yeah.
spoiled, like
Yeah.
on those inevitable days, bro, like just getting something done, just finding a way to get something done,
Yeah.
move the needle somehow, goes a long way. And those small little choices like are the seeds that from which a whole tree of potential sprouts. And I think a lot of people miss out on that.
I mean, like you said, getting it done, getting it done. Just like even if it's something that I didn't want to do, I felt for if only for the purposes of self-discipline was helpful. Even if I didn't make any progress with any of the weight, or I couldn't lift what I lifted last week and I had to go back down and weight, or whatever the situation was, like because no one's going to force you to go get the shit done. And like just like anything else in life, everyone can only hold your hand for so long, especially because most of my life I've committed to an exercise program and dropped it after a month or two. So I've had that continuous cycle of like, I don't want to use the word failure, but like, I guess it is in a sense like failing on myself, I guess,
Hmm.
like trying to commit to something and then giving up on it a couple of months later and then not regressing, but going back to just my whatever my life was before. I made a commitment to myself and to your program, and I felt like I followed through as best as I could with that for a long period of time. And it makes you feel good about things, when you know that, like when you look back and on how much work that I put in over the course of the 9 months that we were working together or whatever it was. And like even something as simple as hitting those like 100 workout marks, like, like when I get that notification after I finish the workout on the fitness app, where I'm just like, oh, like that feels good, like
Yeah.
hitting the 50 mark, hitting the 75 mark, hitting triple digits was like, I didn't realize, like, you don't realize until you like take a step back and look at everything in the past, where it's like, oh, I worked out 100 times in less than 300 days. So it's
Yeah.
like that's a good clip. Like I felt like I had accomplished a lot, and I still have more to accomplish, but um I do feel like just everything else aside, like the self-discipline and the commitment that I had to make that I followed through with, it makes me happy.
Like you find benefit in having one person for both like personal training as well as nutritional coaching.
Probably the best thing is just the congruency. The it's nice to have to be on the same page. I've never worked with like a separate I've never worked with a nutritionist and a personal trainer, or even just a personal trainer in general. But having different people giving you different points of view with different goals, or the orientation of why they're giving you the information, it's helpful that I was able to talk to you as like a one-stop shop and say like, here's why we're training what we're training, and then here's the nutritional aspect that can go along with it that can help you reach the goals through what I'm giving you with the exercise program. So it's easier to articulate what I wanted to get done, and then be able to get a response from you, whether it was nutritional based or strength training based or a combination of both, that all kind of help me focus towards the same endpoint.
I think especially, I mean, in your circumstance, right? Like you have school, boards, life,
Yeah.
like the gym, relationships. There's all these different forces converging on one Richie Quinn. I mean, I know that you touched on this a little bit before, but like in hindsight, is there anything that you really appreciated about the way that we kind of implemented things and making sure that like this all fits into your lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, like just talking to you and being consistent, like whereas I didn't feel like I was ever kind of like left behind or like lost in the dark, where like I always felt like I was on the same page with you. We were always working towards the same end goal, and there were always adjustments along the way, but the approach generally stayed the same. You know what I mean? Like whether we tweak things within the program or nutritionally, like you helping me cater some of the things to like my picky eating habits, or like just like macros along the way, and then also kind of individualizing a training program and seeing where my deficiencies might be and where I can benefit from certain exercises and why we're doing the things, like we were just talking about, like understanding the why behind, like what are we trying to accomplish with what we're doing, whether it's in the gym or in the kitchen or whatever it might be. um that was all super beneficial for me.
I guess to wrap things up, like, obviously going through this transformative chapter of your life, like, and it's not over. The chapter's still rolling.
Yeah.
But what would you tell someone that's like kind of on the fence about leveling up in this aspect, taking things a bit more seriously and improving their health and fitness?
Um, One of the big things that I would say is that it's never too early and it's never too late to start, especially emphasizing it's never too late to start, especially with like the job that I do and treating people and convincing them that they can still, like even someone that's as old as like some of my 75, 80-year-old patients, like that don't strength train or haven't strength trained in 40 years, convincing them that they are capable of doing it. Like, you are capable of moving, you are capable of reducing your pain, you are capable of improving your functional strength. And like all of us, I mean, it's easy to say right now, I'm 26, like, yeah, okay, like I'm fine, like I'm not in pain. I just wanted to get stronger. I just wanted to look better and feel better throughout my day. But like, we're all going to be we're all going to be 45, 55, 65 somewhere down the road. And if it's not starting now, it's got to start sometime. And the longer that we put it off, the harder it's going to be to like achieve those goals, or even just to return back to a baseline functional strength. So like, my advice is that I tell my patients is that, like, the cliche is that motion is lotion, whether it's strength training or if it's a walk, just like however you want to start your fitness journey. If it's just a 10-minute walk after work every day, and then you increase to 30 minutes and then an hour, and then you decide you want to start doing push-ups and sit-ups and squats, and then you decide that you want to progress it more to a functional strength training program. Like, it's never too late to start, and everyone has their foundation. So like, wherever you're going to start, you can always go up from there. So that's all it
Is
is.
there anything else that like helped you in kind of staying I guess consistent? Like what do you think was different this time as opposed to other experiences?
That's a good question. I think that having like, obviously having someone that's a support system was super helpful for me. Like, having you to call back to, or to reach out to when I felt like I might have been struggling with something, or even just to check in after the workouts and be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I pushed it pretty hard today. And then to look at some of the other people in the fitness app, like, that are part of the Iron Mentality program, and like, kind of, I don't know how to word this, but like, seeing all of them put in work, right? Like, okay, X, Y, and Z person hit their workouts today. Like, I got to get in the gym. You know what I mean? Like, just having a general support system around was helpful for me. Because that makes a difference, where it's not just like, I'm not just thinking about it as myself. Like, there's a lot of other people that are going through the journey with me, and at the same time, and everyone's trying to make their little incremental progress one day at a time. Um, in a certain way, it's like, I just refuse to let myself get back behind, like, to fall back, where it's like, I see everyone making progress, I want to make progress. Like, that was helpful to kind of push me along. So there's like a little bit of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, with like, I need to be there for myself, and I need to commit to this, and I need to be there for myself on the days that don't feel great. But also to have like other people around you that are succeeding in what they're doing and being consistent and committing to their programs, kind of just gives you a little bit more of like, okay, we're all on the right path.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, like when giving general advice to anybody that's like just trying to get into this lifestyle overall or take it a bit more seriously, that's often one of the first things I recommend is just like finding ways to have a support system around you, finding
Yeah.
ways for external accountability, as well as always, reinstilling your why, always understanding like what it is that you're actually, what is actually compelling you to make this change to begin with. So I think everything you said like is really profound and really relevant advice for anybody out there that's just trying to take this stuff a little bit more seriously.
Doing this helped me like gain a sense of like, I guess, gain some more self-discipline, and like realizing that like it can be enjoyable, like, I don't have to dread doing the like exercise, like going in resistance training and shit like that. Like, it can be helpful and positive, but also I can enjoy it, and it can be a stress reliever for me, and I don't have to kill myself every time I go in the gym. Like, I don't have to do an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute workouts to feel like I'm accomplishing something, and just kind of be more concise and have a plan when I approach certain things, instead of just going in there and spending, like I said, like an hour and 40 minutes just winging it, just going from random machines to random machines over at the other side of the gym, just kind of like, I don't know I don't have a focus or a goal in mind. So I think that's super helpful just going forward.